One source of insight into the inner workings of an organization that shouldn't be overlooked is their current database system. This could be an actual computer database that had been previously developed but no longer meets their needs for some reason, a series of spreadsheet files, or even a file folder full of paper records. You want to be able to get your hands on as much of their current system as possible in order to see what works, and sometimes more importantly, what doesn't. And while you want to be as thorough in your investigation as possible, it's extremely important at this stage to be highly conscious of the mission statement you just developed. After all, it's your guide for the database development process, and without it, it would be very easy to get overwhelmed right out of the gate. So with the mission statement in mind, the first step is to gather information on how the system currently collects data, including getting copies of any paper and electronic files that are in use. You'll analyze these to determine specifically which data elements they capture and how they're organized into themed data groups. Next is to seek out ways the organization currently presents or exports their data. This includes locating copies of any summary reports, transaction logs, or other documents that the organization produces, and again, noting the types of information they include and how they are organized. After you've gathered all of the input and output documents that relate to the mission statement, you'll want to specifically find out what requirements the current system doesn't meet. Are there bottlenecks in the process of collecting data that can be overcome in the new database? How are summary reports compiled and distributed? Finding answers to these types of questions will help ensure that the system you build will actually solve a problem. In this regard, it's important to use the current record-keeping system as a guide for the types of information and tasks that the new system will need to accomplish, but not simply adopt the same structures. In other words, you don't want to accidentally adopt the same bad habits that the current system has. Finally, you'll want to identify areas where the system would need to grow to accommodate the future development of the organization. What types of information do they want to get out of their data but can't due to some roadblock in the data's organizational structure? Completing this stage of the process could be very quick or a significant milestone. It all depends on the size of the organization you're aiding and the tasks the new database is meant to accomplish. As I mentioned earlier, be sure to keep the mission statement in mind and continually ask yourself if the documents you're reviewing support this statement or not. Don't spend your time on document collection outside of the scope of your project. So make detailed notes of all of your findings and keep copies of the documents you collect. You're going to use them in the next couple of steps to help guide the identification of the various people that are within the organization, as well as help shape any questions that you'll need to ask during the upcoming interview process.